once again I will explain you all how to prepare alkyl halides. Alkyl halides has to be prepared from alcohols. Alcohol reaction of alcohol with halogen acids. Halogen acids means HX, where X represents chlorine, bromine and iodine. Now out of this HX, HI is more reactive than HBr and then HCl. Reactivity of HI is more because the bond length between hydrogen and iodine is bigger than HBr and then HCl. Next question arises about the alcohol. Which alcohol is more reactive? Now here third degree is more reactive than second degree is more reactive than first degree. The reason why the first degree is less reactive because in the first degree and second degree alcohols, they need a catalyst zinc chloride, anhydrous zinc chloride as a catalyst to break the bond between R and O. This R-O bond has to be broken to form alkyl halides. This is broken when an acid H ion, H plus cation, it comes and attack with alcohol. The pair of electron which is present on the alcohol comes and react with, or it gives its electron to hydrogen atom and forms a protonated alcohol. This protonated alcohol is an intermediate compound which does not last for long, has to be broken and get the final product. The final product we get as this bond takes the electron, oxygen develop a positive charge, takes the electron between the RO and breaks the bond. Meanwhile, X being a nucleophile, these get attached to the alkyl, this R forming the cation, carbocation and resulting in the formation of alkyl halide. In this second video, I am going to explain about the preparation of alkyl bromides and alkyl iodides. In the first video, we have discussed about chloroalkanes. In the second video, here we are going to explain why it is important to understand alkyl bromide and alkyl iodide separately, because HBr and HI which we are using here is prepared in C2. You know what is C2? C2 means when the reaction takes place, during the course of reaction, this content has been prepared. Like in order to get HBr, it is reacted with potassium bromide, is reacted with sulfuric acid. Then potassium bisulfate and HBr is prepared. This HBr then reacts with alcohol to get you alkyl bromide. Similarly for iodoalkanes, the reaction takes place in which alcohol is mixed with potassium iodide and phosphoric acid, where alcohol reacts with the iodine from the potassium iodide part and forms alkyl iodide, and remaining portion water will be removed, and along with the water another byproduct, that is potassium dihydrogen phosphate, is obtained. So these are the two important reactions by which you can prepare bromoalkane as well as iodoalkane. Yes, now we are going to start another third method for preparing alkyl halide from alcohol by the action of phosphorus pentachloride and phosphorus trichloride. With chlorides, normal phosphorus pentachloride and trichloride can be used, and it can be used directly. Alcohol, when reacts with phosphorus pentachloride, you will get alkyl halide and phosphorus oxychloride and HCl as a byproduct. Whereas when you are using phosphorus trichloride, treating with alcohol, you no doubt you will get an ethyl alcohol as a product along with that phosphoric acid. But this same reaction cannot be done directly with bromides and iodides. Whenever you have to do this reaction, prepare alkyl halides with bromides and iodide, you have to prepare in C2. That means separate chemical reaction has to be done. Like phosphorus, when treated with bromine, then you will get phosphorus tribromides. Phosphorus, red phosphorus, actually you have to take red phosphorus. When treated with iodine, you will get phosphorus triiodide, which can be written again. When this phosphorus bromide or phosphorus iodide is when treated with alcohol, you will get alkyl bromides and alkyl iodides. Up till here, this is the third method. Now we can talk about the fourth method from alcohol which we can prepare. This fourth method by the action of thionyl chloride with alcohol. This is considered to be the best method for preparing alkyl halides. because in this the two byproducts which you are getting, that is HCl and SO2, both are gases and they both evaporate and pure clear alkyl halides is prepared. In this alcohol is treated with thionyl chloride. This is thionyl chloride SOCl2, where SO reacts with another O of the alcohol, forms SO2. H of the alcohol reacts with one of the chlorine and forms HCl. Remaining one chlorine reacts with the alkyl part and forms alkyl halide. So this is the best method considered for the preparation of alkyl halide. We are going to study the second method for preparation of alkyl halide. Though this method we have already studied in class 11. This is followed by the free radical halogenation. Halogenation, that is halogen has to be split in the form of radical first in the presence of sunlight. Now alkane that is we are using hydrocarbon. So alkane when reacts with one radical, it will form methyl radical and HCl is formed. In the second step, this methyl free radical again reacts with the second molecule of chlorine and again it breaks and forms the first product, that is alkyl halide. Now this reaction can continue takes place up till all the 4 hydrogen atom of the alkane can be replaced by the chlorine. In the second method, second step, you will see alkyl halide reacts with another chlorine radical forming CH2Cl as a radical and HCl is formed. This radical again combines with another molecule of chlorine and forms CH2Cl2. Likewise, this reaction continues and CH2Cl2 again reacts with a free radical chlorine forming CHCl2 again free radical here. It continues till all the 4 hydrogen atoms of that methane has been replaced by the chlorine. In this way, whole mechanism continues up till all the 4 hydrogen of methane has been replaced by the chlorine atom and forming carbon tetrachloride. In this 4 types products has been formed. One was methyl chloride, then dichloromethane, then trichloromethane and now tetrachloromethane. The last step is the termination step where the reaction stops when 2 chloride radicals combines together and again forms the chlorine molecule. Yes, this is the last method and again it is very important method because in this 2 named reactions are there. This is halogen exchange method. Halogen exchange. First is the Fink-Kilstein's reaction. This reaction is feasible only when we want iodides, alkyl iodides. In this reaction, any alkyl halide like chlorides or bromides, when reacts with sodium iodide, you will get alkyl iodide, you will get, and NaX is removed. That is sodium chloride or sodium bromide is removed. This sodium chloride or sodium bromide which you are getting is insoluble in acetone, which is also present in the reaction mixture. And this compound which is insoluble in acetone has to be filtered and can be removed. Next is the Schwarz reaction. This reaction is used to get the fluoride alkyls. That is alkyl fluoride, which is normal reaction is not at all possible for these 2 reactions. So that is why different reactions under different names has been given. This is the Schwarz reaction. In this reaction, alkyl bromide or alkyl chloride when reacts with metallic fluorides. Keep it in mind, metallic fluoride. This metallic fluoride can be silver fluoride, mercury fluoride, cobalt or any other. When it reacts, it is heated, you will get alkyl fluorides and silver bromide or mercury bromide can be removed. In this way, the 2 named reactions which are again very important it helps in the preparation of alkyl halides, that is alkyl iodides and alkyl fluorides. Okay. Yes, this is the last reaction of preparation of alkyl halide from hydrocarbon. In this, we are preparing alkyl halides from alkenes. This reaction also we have studied in class 11th. First, that is the Markovnikov and anti-Markovnikov rule. In first reaction, if we take alkenes, that is alkenes, symmetric alkene, we are talking about, if we are taking symmetric alkene, then HX, that is acid which we are adding in it, gets attached to any carbon which is available. H can go to any carbon and X can go to any carbon and form alkyl halide. But in the unsymmetric hydrocarbon, when HX reacts, you know that what is the Markovnikov rule. According to the Markovnikov rule, again I am telling to you all, according to Markovnikov rule, and X, that is a halide of acid, gets attached to that carbon which is having less number of hydrogen and forms the major product, whereas another one is a minor product. Just opposite to this is the anti-Markovnikov rule, that is unsymmetrical alkene when reacts with acid in the presence of peroxide. My major alkyl halide, major, another one is the minor product. Yes, children, now we are going to study very important method, that is the Sandmeyer's method for preparation of alkyl halide. This method is very important as because this method is used in all the 4 chapters of organic chemistry. Now in this method, initially we have to take primary aromatic amine, which is also known as aniline. Everyone knows the formula for aniline, benzene ring in which NH2 group attached. This aniline reacts with nitrous acid. Though this nitrous acid is not available in the laboratory or somewhere else, it has to be prepared. It is prepared by the reaction with sodium nitrite with HX. By mixing the two, you get nitrous acid. And in this, the reaction takes nitrogen of aniline reacts with N of the nitrous acid and form N2, and X from of this acid gets react with this and forms an intermediate compound, benzene disonium salt. Along with that, sodium when reacts with the OH present here and forms sodium hydroxide. There is no use of this sodium hydroxide now. We need this intermediate compound, that is benzene disonium halide. This intermediate compound, benzene disonium salt, which is also known as, it is treated with cuprous halide. And when it reacts with cuprous halide, we will get aromatic halide compound, that is the chlorobenzene product is obtained. This nitrogen gets removed out. In this again, X which we are taking is for chlorine and bromine, but for iodine there is no need to form cuprous iodide is not used. Instead of that, potassium iodide is used to get an iodine compound. This is known as Sandmeyer's reaction. Yes, today we will study chemical reaction. Under chemical reaction, we will study nucleophilic substitution reaction. As you know, nucleophilic means nucleophile, addition of a nucleophile. Everyone knows what is nucleophile. It is that substance having a negative charge in it. Okay. Now this nucleophile, which is having a negative charge, when get attached to an alkyl halide, what will happen? This negative part of alkyl halide will be replaced by another nucleophile which is more reactive. It will substitute this alkyl. Incoming group will remove the other one which is already present and a new product is formed. You will find there are many types of nucleophile given in your NCERT book. But one more nucleophile that you will find here, there will be ambidentate nucleophile. Ambidentate means there are 2 examples. One is alkyl cyanide and another is isocyanide. In alkyl cyanide, there are 2 ends by which the attachment can take place. One compound, but the attachment place is 2. One is carbon and another is nitrogen. Similarly, in isocyanide also, you will find the same. One when the attachment is from the carbon, you will known as alkyl cyanide, and one when the attachment is from the nitrogen, you call it as isocyanide. Now there are 2 types of nucleophilic substitution reaction, SN1 and SN2. The complete way what you talk is nucleophilic substitution bimolecular. When you talk about SN2, that is nucleophilic substitution bimolecular. Bimolecular means 2 reactant, 2 part which is taking part in the reaction, both will participate in the reaction itself. One will be the nucleophile, the incoming group OH is considered to the very reactive nucleophile, and another is the alkyl halide which we are taking. What type of alkyl halide is there? It is very important part during this reaction. If the alkyl halide is primary, then the reaction proceeds very fastly, as because there is no bulky group present, only hydrogen is attached to it. Now what will happen here? This nucleophile gets attached to the carbon that is present in there and forms a transition state. That means already one nucleophile which is present, it gets loosely bonded and the incoming group also get attached and it also get loosely bonded to this carbon, forming the 5 bonds in it. 5 bond is not possible, so it is highly unstable and gets break down immediately. It breaks and removes the already present nucleophile there, and the incoming OH group. It is a continuation of the first video which I have already sent to you all. The SN2 reaction which we have studied yesterday, its summary of that reaction is, it is a bimolecular. This reaction takes place in a single step. No intermediate stage is formed, as the intermediate which is written in the form of transition state is unstable, and there is inversion of configuration takes place. The reactivity of the order is first order, is more reactive than second order, and then the third order. Now we will study the SN1 reaction, nucleophilic substitution unimolecular, single step, single reactant reaction. In this reaction, third degree is more stable, as third degree is capable of forming carbocation, which is very stable, and the reaction takes place in 2 steps. In the first step, first the alkyl halide, that is tertiary alkyl halide, breaks to form a stable carbocation, which then reacts with the OH nucleophile and forms the compound. The final summary of this reaction is, it is a unimolecular, that is depends upon only the alkyl halide, that is a tertiary one, and third degree is more stable, 3 degrees more stable than 2 degree than 1 degree. It is a two-step reaction, and the very important part is that it undergoes the detention of configuration. There is no inversion, but where the alkyl has been removed, the similar part, the halide removed, then same part nucleophile gets attached to it. Yes children, today we are going to study about the stereochemical aspects of nucleophilic substitution reaction. In this topic, we have to cover lots of small definitions and points which you have to understand independently. First we have to see the optical activity, then we will talk about chirality, then enantiomers, retention, inversion and racemization, and many others. First of all, I would like to explain you about the optical active. Any substance, when it is said to be as an optically active, in order to find out, one experiment by the help of polarimeter tube is there. With the help of this arrangement, we can find out whether the substance is optically active or not. So light source, if a simple light source is there, that light source without undergoing any process initially shows light in all the directions of different wavelengths. When this light is passed through nickel prism, it changes, after passing through the nickel prism, it changes to one light having one wavelength, which then passes to a solution. This solution contains any substance which tells whether the substance is optically active or not. After passing to the solution, if this light change the direction of this plain polarized light, that means it changes the direction. Either it changes the direction to right hand side or left hand side. If it changes the direction to right hand side, then that particular substance shows dextrorotatory, which is represented by the sign positive. It is known as dextrorotatory. Dextrorotatory, which is represented by the positive sign, that means clockwise rotation. But when it changes its direction to the negative side, that is anti-clockwise, it is represented by the negative sign, and it is known as levorotatory, and it undergoes anti-clockwise direction. And finally, with that, you will come to know that substance is whether optically active or not. And it shows 2 types of isomers. One is dextrorotatory and another is levorotatory. Yes children, now continuation for that, we will study molecular asymmetric. That means we will study what is chirality. Chirality, asymmetric, and then it is also known as enantiomers. I will describe all this here. Now any substance, any carbon substance having all the 4 places, all the 4 bonds are attached by different element A, B, C, D, is said to be as chiral. That is, it is not superimposable, it is chiral. Now what I want to tell you all is that if the mirror image is, everyone have seen the mirror image. If you will put a glass and its mirror image, you will get a glass. And glass mirror image on the original image can be superimposed to each other. Any substance which can be superimposed the mirror image, they are known as achiral. And on the other hand, another substances like suppose your hand, leg, foot and all that, if you will take the mirror image, it is not possible to superimpose. Suppose your hand is this, its mirror image is coming to be this, and when you will try to superimpose, it will come to be like this. This is not superimposing. It is not exactly fitting on it. It should fit. So this substance is known as chiral. Similarly, we can take the two examples of it. One is propane 2-ol and another is butane 2-ol. In propane 2-ol, you can see how it is achiral. See, carbon is having 2 methyl group, CH3, C and OH is there. This second carbon, OH is attached there. When mirror image you take, you will get this image. The mirror image has to be rotated to 180 degree. When you rotate this mirror image to 180 degree, the product which you get should superimpose to the original one. And in this example, you see that the final product after 180 degree rotation, it is superimposing. So that it is known as, it is achiral. On the other hand, another example, butane 2-ol. You see butane 2-ol, here mirror image is coming like this. After rotating it to 180 degree, the C2H5 ethyl group is were down at the beginning. Now here it is on the top. So this compound cannot be superimposed to the original one. So this substance, this example is said to be as a chiral. Yes children, in this video I am going to explain about the reactions of haloarenes. In this we have to study that why haloarenes are less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reaction. Nucleophilic substitution reaction is not easily possible with haloarenes. There are some reasons behind it. We will study the reason why it is less reactive. First reason is the resonance effect. In this you will I will just see how it does not undergoes nucleophilic substitution reaction easily. Here you can see haloarene is there, halogen is there, chlorine is having a pair of electrons to it. Now one of the electron will come and attach to this carbon-chlorine bond and forms a double bond here. Meanwhile, this electron which is present in this carbon benzene ring will move towards this end and forms a negative charge here. Then simply you know how to form the resonating structures. This negative charge coming here, again this taking its place. In this, with these few resonating structures, when it is forming, you will find that each end where the nucleophile should get attached is taken up by the electron. So it does not become easy for a nucleophile to come and get attached to it. Second reason is difference in the hybridization. You can compare the difference between the haloalkanes and haloarenes. In haloarenes, you will see the attachment of carbon is sp2 hybridized, whereas in alkane it is sp3 hybridized. Second part important is that when sp2 hybridized, that means it is having more S character. S character means having maximum negative charge and more negative electronegativity will be there. When haloarene is having more electronegativity, so it is not possible for it to collect or attach another nucleophile to it. In comparison to that, haloalkane is having less S character. Less S character means having less electronegativity in it. So it can easily attach any nucleophile to it. And third reason here you can see the bond length. Bond length between carbon and halogen in haloarene is less as compared to alkanes. Alkanes. In this, if bond length is less, that means the breaking a shorter bond takes more energy as compared to the larger bond. So that is why it is not possible easy for haloarenes to undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction. Then another reason you can see, inability to form a phenyl cation. Phenyl cation, that means phenyl having a positive charge. This is not possible with that of haloarenes. Suppose if it is possible that if suppose by itself halogen gets removed, that is self-ionization if it takes place, then as soon as the positive charge gets attached there, that cannot frame any other resonating structures. So no, not able to form the resonating structures, so that cannot be stabilized. In that way, this is another reason why haloarenes do not undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction. Finally, last is the important one more part is that repulsion. Though having negative charge in it, another incoming negative charge cannot be accepted by it. haloarenes, that is why it does not undergo a nucleophilic substitution reaction easily.